committee, I call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Dr. Bovee,
Still here?
Mr. Castillo,
Here.
Dr. Davis,
Here.
Ms. Ellis, here, Mr. Garvey,
Here.
Ms. Holloway, Mr. Melvin,
Here.
Mr. Morris,
Here.
Ms. Orange Jones,
Here.
Mr. Locke, Ms. Boucher, not present, Ms. Bonifaz, not present. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. First item, please.
Your consent agenda is ready for approval, adding items 5.1, 5.2, and 6.1.
Can I get a motion? Mr. Mellorin, seconded by Mr. Garvey. Any objections? All right, next item.
Your first item is on page 1, item 2.1, consideration of initial certification preparation pathway proposal submitted by Appel. The recommendation is to approve.
Ms. Ellis, if I may, can I make a substitute motion that we take items 2.1 through 2.10 as an E logo?
To approve, seconded by Mr. Garvey. Any objection? We do have, yeah,
I just need to recuse myself from item 2.6.
okay, take note of that. We do need to address public comment. We have 2 cards. All right, we have Brooke Fouts with I Teach and Molly Williams. Both, one in support and one information only. Do you want to come up and speak to us? Only one? All right. Make sure your mic's on. Introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Pull it close. Pull it closer.
Better? Green light, real close.
Real close.
That one's not funny. Good afternoon, my name is Brooke Fowles, and I'm National Program Director for I Teach Louisiana. I Teach was actually founded in Texas in 2003. In 2009, I Teach became the first non-institution of higher education to achieve national accreditation through NC, now CAPE. This is the same accreditation held by each institution of higher ed in Louisiana. In 2011, I Teach Louisiana was approved by Bessie to offer teacher certification in 30 content areas. In 2016, I Teach Louisiana was approved to offer educational leadership certification. Since I Teach approval in 2011, I Teach has had the privilege and responsibility to recommend over 3,000 Louisiana teachers for state licensure. In 2017, I Teach received approval from Bessie to offer initial special education mild to moderate, certifying 274 special education teachers since approved. Recently, completers of the I Teach program, as well as partnering school districts, have reached out to our office inquiring about the possibility of I Teach offering the add-on special education endorsement, a need demonstrated in today's meeting. In keeping with the I Teach vision of removing barriers from our profession and being responsive to our stakeholders, I Teach submitted an application to the LDOE to offer special education as an add-on to teacher certification. Today we ask for your approval on the recommendation for us to move forward with offering special education mild to moderate to our candidates.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the board? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next item.
Your next item is on page 66, item 3.1, consideration of an update report regarding mentor, teacher, and content leader training provider effectiveness. The recommendation is to receive.
Can I get a motion? Mr. Garvey, second by Mr. Millerin. It's in our packet. What page?
66.
All right, so it's a receive item. Any questions, comments from the board? Any objections, no comment cards? Okay, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is on page 92, item 4.1, consideration of an update report regarding the Teacher Certification Appeals Council. The recommendation is to receive the minutes and approve the appointment of Mr. Hennessy Melanson to the membership.
Okay. Ms. Holloway makes a motion. Can I get a second? Mr. Rock? Any comments? Opposition? Okay, motion carries. Next item.
The next item is on page 121, item 7.1, consideration of a discussion regarding Louisiana Public School Montessori issues. The recommendation is to receive.
Can I get a motion? Ms. Holloway, second by Ms. Dr. Davis. Any comments from the board?
Yep, I have a motion to make. I would like to recommend that the board direct the department to create a Montessori education task force in order to study and make recommendations regarding public Montessori education, including Montessori certification issues, and include input from national organizations and experts, including but not limited to the Montessori Accreditation Council of Teacher Education.
Mr. Castillo, second. Any comments? Mr. Morris?
Dr. Davis, just briefly, could you help me with, what kind of issue are we talking about?
So it's around the certification issues. So Montessori teachers do teacher training that does not align with our current certification process. And so in the past, there have been initiatives trying to figure out how to allow Montessori certified teachers to also be certified teachers under our current policy regime. And so essentially what we're trying to do is to have this task force get together to work out the differences that need to be worked out for them to be able to establish their certification. So essentially, they are already going to school and being certified in the Montessori process, but for them to also be certified teachers, there would have to be years of school on top of that. And so given the way we have been making changes around certification and the processes that allow teachers to gain certification, I thought it was time for us to sit down and reassess this issue. I do know that there are individuals who approached me about the needs in this particular area that are here to offer public comment that might be more enlightening than my own comments.
Yes, we do have some public comments. Do you guys want to hear from that? Okay, so let's go ahead and call up some of our public comment cards. Molly Williams, I'm sorry, I think I called you a minute ago, Molly. As well, but she does not wish to speak. We'll do Daniel Keene. Kay Saragusa, did I get it right? Wow. Emily Swenson and Dr. Angie Franklin. Thank you, wish to speak. Daniel Keene does not wish to speak but is in support, and Molly Williams does not wish to speak but is in support. All right, you guys go whatever order you want.
Good afternoon, my name is Kay Saragusa. I'm the Montessori specialist in King Grove Parish in the public Montessori school. I'm in my 13th year as a public Montessori school, and I'm in 24 year educator. Thanks for allowing us a few minutes to bring Montessori to your attention. As long as I've been in education, as a student, as a teacher, and now as an instructional coach, I've seen curricula come in and out, specializing in ways to meet the needs of our vastly diverse students across the nation. And although each have had their own techniques and learning focus, I've never seen a curriculum that encompassed the development of the child holistically. One that took into account their brain development, their interest, their observation, and student choice. Until I was introduced to Montessori education. Montessori is a philosophy that educates the whole child around a curriculum that has been taught, tested, and proven successful for over a century. Montessori education was developed by Dr. Maria Montessori, a doctor ahead of her own time, and it creates a foundation of learning that innately balances diversity, incorporates social-emotional learning, teaches inclusive practices, and is equitable to all students despite their background. The trained Montessori teacher follows the individual needs of each student and allows acceleration in areas of strength and continued support needed in areas of weakness. allowing every child to be successful. Research suggests that students who experience Montessori education in their formative years tend to perform well academically and socially in later stages in education. These benefits can have a lasting positive impact on student lives. Most Montessori programs are privately based, but in the last 10 years there's been a spread into the public sector. However, they start off strong and then slowly begin losing sustainability as the years pass due to some hurdles. Utilizing the efforts of fellow states in the same situation as us and the support of the Organization for National Montessori in the Public Sector, we finally have the research, the data, and the guidelines to address these hurdles and work towards a sustainable program. In summary, the incorporation of Montessori education into public schools can lead to a more student-centered, inclusive, and effective learning environment. It equips students with the skills, the mindset needed to thrive in a complex and evolving society while promoting a love of learning that can last a lifetime. Today, my colleagues and I bring you not problems, but solutions for potential programs that can highlight the advancement of education in our state while retaining teachers and maintaining a positive culture. We just need your support in moving forward with the initiative to help grow and sustain Montessori education in our public schools. And now I'll pass the floor to my colleagues.
Good afternoon. My name is Emily Swinson. I'm the lead teacher and Montessori specialist at a public Montessori school in Rapides Parish. I've been in public Montessori for 20 years at 2 different schools in Rapides Parish. So I'm here to speak about my experience with supporting teachers as well as being one. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Over the past 7 years, I have supported over 40 teachers with their alternative teaching certifications in addition to Montessori teacher certifications. One of the primary challenges for these teachers is the requirement that they hold 2 certifications. In our parish, we have had 30+ Montessori teachers in my district, along with myself, that have completed a Montessori certification program that had many requirements. It is a MACD accredited 24-month program with weekly face-to-face meetings, an intensive 180-hour in-person residency, and a year-long practicum experience that includes at least 3 to 5 formal observation evaluations by the program's faculty. In comparison, the alternative teacher certification programs available to teachers require 12 to 18 months with minimal face-to-face, if any. The practicum experience typically only requires 2 to 5, which is very similar. Public Montessori school teachers currently have to complete both types of programs, which means they are in a certification program for up to 3.5 years before they are completely certified to teach that particular curriculum. This is in addition to their college degree. In my experience, an accredited Montessori certification program equips teachers above and beyond the typical alternative program and should be considered as a viable pathway to Louisiana teacher certification. According to the Montessori Public Policy Initiative Group, currently there are 11 other states that have a pathway to teacher licensure for Montessori credentialed teachers. There are 3 additional states that are actively considering a similar pathway, and there are advocates in 7 other states that are strategizing around the same issue. In a climate where teacher retention is a large concern and teacher burnout is very real, I'm here to ask that you consider establishing a task force to explore alternative pathways to teacher licensure through accredited Montessori programs. If you have any questions regarding these programs or my experience, I'm more than happy to answer anything. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time and for allowing my colleagues and I to speak. My name is Angie Franklin. I am a Montessori MACD approved public Montessori principal from Rapides Parish. In my 18 years of an educator here in the state of Louisiana, I've held many roles in Montessori schools. I've been a Montessori paraprofessional, I was a Montessori teacher, and now I'm a Montessori principal transitioning a low-performing school in Louisiana to a Montessori accredited school. We are working hard to help our teachers and our students with the effects of what Montessori can do for our students. And today, we stand in agreements that we would like to participate in this workforce toward this initiative with the Montessori solution. We do feel like the establishment of this task force that would include not only public but private Montessori educators across the state would be an instrument in supporting and implementing Montessori principles in the public sectors while leading and improving those academic and social-emotional outcomes for our children and our families who choose Montessori education for their students. Throughout the country, as was told, there are various policies that have been implemented to ensure that fidelity of Montessori education, and we believe that it is time for our state to take that proactive approach in this regard. We are proposing that this task force examine ways to support Montessori not only in the public but in the private sectors here. We would like the best outcome for all of our students in the state of Louisiana. One of those primary challenges is those requirements for our teachers to hold those 2 certifications. However, we have observed, as mentioned earlier, that there are several states that have different pathways, and we do have this documentation should you need it. But another concern that we have is the categorization of the Montessori curriculum. Currently, Montessori is not placed in that Tier 1 high-quality instructional curriculum category, which results in our teachers being required to teach additional requirement curriculums that are above and beyond those scopes of the Montessori program. There are several states that have recognized that Montessori is a valid curriculum in its own right and relieves schools of the burden of all of the additional curriculum and its redundancy. We do believe that this change would greatly benefit our Montessori schools and our students. Recent research has demonstrated that when Montessori is implemented with fidelity, it has potential to close most achievement gaps. This aligns with our collective goal to provide that equitable education opportunity for all of our students. So in conclusion, our team and our colleague would like the board to consider this task force as we move forward for our teachers and for our students. And we thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Board, do we have any additional comments? Mr. Morris?
The task force is going to look at the teacher certification and the curriculum, or just the teacher certification?
Initially, moving forward, we'd love the teaching certification to be viewed first. And our next steps would be to look at the curriculum, because we do believe that this curriculum, with the research founded behind it, can be supported. That it does meet all the needs of our students, not only socially, emotionally, academic, it presents and covers the whole child. And we do believe that it is a curriculum that would fit in that Tier 1 category. We do know that a task force would need to be created to ensure that we meet all the steps that are required by the state, but we do feel like it is a next step, yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments, questions? All right, motion carried. We have,
I think a couple of things. One, my student teaching partner had been educated through a Montessori program, and I was impressed with just the way she knew things and the way she problem solved as a result of it. So I've been fascinated with it personally since having that experience with her a couple of decades ago here at Baton Rouge. But what I think going back to the question about the curriculum, and I do think a larger group of people would need to spend more time thinking about this. I'd be interested to see outcomes for kids in Montessori programs, right? Because a lot of times we look at a curriculum from an input basis, like, are they covering these standards and how are those things happening? But because we know we have schools that are already implementing the curriculum, I do think it'd be interesting to study outcomes for students who've been exposed to that curriculum to get a better sense of, is it doing what we need it to do? Because the reason that we tier curriculum in the first place is to make sure that kids have access to high quality curriculum. So anyway, I think that might just be a different way to approach it. I do anticipate there are differences, and I applaud you for your efforts. I think it's important for kids to learn in different ways and to demonstrate that knowledge in different ways, and I look forward to watching how all this develops.
thank you. Hearing no objection, motion passes. All right. Are we taking a
5 minutes.
5 minutes, and then we'll start the next meeting?